red wine. 'Cause starlight above me, shining so gently, I'm making my way back home. You will be there when the lights go down, and you were the one when love came to town. Now daylight is fading, but I know you're waiting, so I'm making my way back home. When you're holding the winning hand, when I'm home to stay, we'll find our happy ending there and chase those blues away. So stoke up the fire and dim the lights. We're gonna dance long into the night. 'Cause steamboat or airplane, taxi or freight train, I'm making my way back home. And I don't need to see no signs just to find my way. 'Cause home is calling out to me, so I'll not go astray. Pack up your worries and don't feel blue. I've got a kiss and it's just for you. I know I'll be home tonight. Now I see city lights, I'm making my way back home.
Go into the actual slides itself, just a quick disclaimer, whatever I share with you, this is opinions, all right? So because some of the things are predictive, so does it will it happen tomorrow? Will it happen 6 months down the road? I don't know, right? Because I can never predict what will happen tomorrow, all right? So do take note that this one is a disclaimer. I want to put it right up front, okay? So are you concerned about these three factors, 1, 2, and 3? Because I know I am, and I know the person I spoke to at the coffee shop is, okay, he's also relatively concerned about this, and he's asking me, I don't know whether he's attending this session tonight, okay, but I gave him the link. I hope he's here tonight. All right, I'll not mention names in case you all go and say, this guy, not very sure, right? Not a good property investor, don't have insights. That's why he's here, all right, to listen to the talk, right? Okay, so, but I think these are genuine concerns about the rising interest rates, okay, about the inflationary pressures on what happens. So I will try to relate all these matters towards the property sector, okay. I will not touch base with any other sector which I'm not familiar with. Property, I'm very familiar, okay, but any other sector, I will not make comments, okay, but I would relate, okay, what these three factors mean to the property market itself. All right, that is the context of our short little sharing tonight. I hope to give you as much information as I can in the next 30 minutes or so. All right, let's jump right in. Okay, some of the concerns. Concern number one, we are afraid of rising interest rates. I was just asking, because some inside this chat group itself, we have got, I've got some of my ERA teammates here, right? Anybody check what's the latest interest rate from the bank or not? Anyone check recently or last week or this week, right? What's the latest interest rate? If I want to fix my interest rate, what's the interest rate they are looking at now? Anyone has checked recently? I've got quite a number of agent friends here. Maybe they can help me out. Type in the chat group, please. If you come across any interest rates offered by whichever bank itself, please type in the number. Is it, maybe I ask just a more generic question. There are no responses coming in. Okay. Is it above 4 or below 4%? If it's above 4, type in number 3. If it's below 4, type in number 4. Okay. Okay, so I saw someone mentioned 3.9. Yeah, 3 means above. 4 means below 4%. I use 4% as a benchmark, okay? Yeah, they got 4, got 3.5. Okay, so it's hovering around this range, isn't it? If you just turn the clock back 1 year, we are living in 1.5%. All right, 1.5, 1.8% range. So the interest rate has risen. This is a fact. My job here is not to tell you buy or don't buy. My job here is to give you data so that you can make informed decision, because I believe that all of you guys, whether you are agents or you are my precious consumers out there, you are already a living proof that you want to know more so that you can make the right decision, right? That's why you are here in this session, to gather data so that you can make decision for yourself. Not for me to make decision for you. I'm just here to share with you the data that we have accumulated, the data that we have crunched, right, to show you some insights. Hopefully that will help you in your decision-making process itself. So what does the newspaper say? Newspaper say, okay, we are looking at 4.5%. Okay, we are looking at above 4%. This is a fact now. Okay, everybody knows this. This is only updated just 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, maybe. All right. So November 18, they say it's going to hover around 4.5%. Does it mean higher interest rates will equate to home prices coming down? Okay, so that's the $1 million question, isn't it? Interest rate go up, by right, buying should slow down, and then prices should fall. Isn't that the general principle behind why they increase the interest rate, so that it becomes, the barrier of entry becomes higher because of the higher mortgage itself? Then people will consider not buying, or maybe buy something that is lower ticket, lower priced. Then eventually hopefully the demand will drop, then the prices will drop. That's what everybody hope will happen, right? But let's look into what happened in the history of Singapore property market versus the interest rate. What happened in the marketplace, right? So the first chart I'll show you is the property price. This is our property price. You must have seen this on URA's website multiple times already, right? Since some of you are seasoned property investors already. Then I'll show you the interest rate, which is the red line. So you've got property prices generally heading this trajectory, right? But then you see the interest rate is hovering up and down, right? So when you see this, when the property market generally the trajectory hits upwards on an upward trend basis, what happened is, let's see the interaction between the interest rates. So you can see interest rate drop here at this juncture in 2008. Do you guys know what happened in 2008? Anybody want to type in the chat group to let's interact a little bit? What happened in 2008? If you guys can remember, that's like maybe 14 years ago, right? What happened in 2008? Anyone wants to help me out? There is a major crisis. Yes, thank you. Yeah, it's because of the brothers. Because of brothers, we call it the Lehman Bros, right? So the Lehman Brothers came, global financial crisis happened. That's why we have a shocking, in terms of the interest rate, it dropped. All right. Then, of course, the property prices dropped. So you would need incidents like this, global financial crisis, in order for property prices to suddenly drop. But did it drop for very long? No, 2009, it rebounded. Because this time round in 2008, we have another savior. Last time we trade a lot with US. Now we trade a lot with US and China. So in this round, okay, we had a strong trading partner called Chinese. All right. So that helped us return our economy to general good condition. Okay. I'll not touch base too much with that. But what I really want to share you is during this period of time when the interest rates was low, you can see this period of time. Okay. This period of time, the property prices generally went upward again until it came down. All right, here. Then it went up again. Okay, all these are the cooling measures at play. If you have known, in 2009, our government already started implementing some cooling measures. All right. So then that period of time was the prices was hovering up, down. Okay, until when they hit this range itself. Okay, where you see the interest rate go up, the prices still went up. Okay, so interest rate shot up, but prices shot up at the same period. Okay, so interest rate went down, prices still went up. Okay, interest rate down, prices go up. That's a normal thing. Okay, but if you look in this period of time where interest rates was also going up, so did our property prices. Okay, so what I'm trying to tell you is, what I'm trying to tell all of us is this. So even though SORA means overnight rates is benchmarked very closely to the US Fed rates. So when you see in 2017, which is the period I was drawing the reference to, right, when home prices, right, where it was going up, interest rate was also going up. So does that answer our question here in this box I'm asking? Does it mean that when the interest rate go up, okay, prices are supposed to come down? Okay, So this is for you to determine, because I'm pretty sure you can process the information better than I can. So what I can conclude is sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not. Right? So there's no conclusion that says that there's a direct correlation that interest rate go up, okay, prices are supposed to come down. There's no direct correlation. That's all I'm willing to tell you based on history. I'm not going to say what will happen tomorrow, okay? But what I can tell you is what happened in the past. Interest rate did go up, but the prices did not come down, isn't it? So that's the first first piece of information I'll share you. Based on factor number one, does it mean higher interest rate means prices will fall? So whether you buy or you wait is really up to you, right? Whether you up to you if you're basing your decision based on the interest rate itself. But I will share with you what's the impact of interest rate going up, because it matters to you and I. I'm also still on mortgage on my current property. Mortgage means I still owe the bank some money. I borrowed money to own my property, right? So what it means is, at the interest rate of moving from 2.75, I show you the impact, I show you the direct impact, to 4.25 or even to 3.95, 3.924, okay, which is, this is my research team going with specific numbers to show you the difference between fixed and floating rate. Floating rate tends to be lower, but because every 3 months they do an adjustment, right? So it could potentially mean more in the long run because the SORA rates are expected to go up in the near future. So what happened is this, in terms of numbers, it means $700 based on a $1.2 million property, and you borrow 900,000, 75%, 3/4 of what your price of your property is. You borrow 900K over a period of 30 years. What it means to your monthly payment is it will go up. This is a fact already. Okay, once the interest rate go up, the monthly installment will go up. So what is Thomas trying to drive at? First, we conclude prices, interest rate go up, prices does not necessarily come down. Okay, we conclude that first. We understand that as a fact first. Number two is there an impact to me? Of course. All right, it will happen in your monthly mortgage. Your monthly mortgage will go up. So what I'm saying is this: when as a couple, as a husband and a wife, or a couple buying a private property, for example, can you afford this $700 now? Can you afford this $500-600 extra now? Okay, which means if I break it down further into days, can you afford to eat less Ding Tai Fong? You eat less restaurant, eat less 店小二, okay? Or maybe less going to MBS to eat the exotic restaurants. Can you tighten the belt a little bit and go through this or not? Okay, because the interest rate are not going to stay high forever. Because the interest rate stay high forever, inflation kick in forever, then what will happen is the economy may tank. People stop buying things all over the shop, then I think everybody will suffer as Singaporeans. So what will happen likely is this period of time when the installments are generally higher, can we last the mile or not? Can we last the journey or not? That's the more important thing you need to think about, all right? Because now it's already adjusted to here. So if today, when you do a calculation with your banker and you're comfortable with the mortgage today, then you already know this is pretty much we're very near the peak already in terms of the interest rate rises. So anything that happens in future, maybe 6 months, 9 months, or even 1 year down the road, it will be lesser in terms of mortgage rates itself. Okay, so this is where you stretch. Okay, whether you are comfortable when you are at a stretch area or not. All right, when the interest rate are on the high side. So this is what will happen. I'll show you so that you know exactly what you are going into. Like I said, I'm giving you information so that you can make an informed decision for yourself. Because all of you are living adults already. I don't need to show you, don't need to treat you like kids and tell you what to do, right? Whether to buy or to wait. You guys can make your informed decision based on the information I'm giving you. So the second thing is, I will share you the phenomenon is, Singapore, we also have growing income. Okay, we also have growing income. So just take 2011, 11 years ago versus 2021, which is last year. You see the income growth. All right. So it has grown over the years, and generally it's on the uptrend. Generally. So what does that tell you? Why things become more expensive? Because we can afford more. Why things become more expensive? I repeat, why things become more expensive? Of course, it's inflation. Okay. But generally, it is also because our income has grown. This is credit. Where does the credit come from? The credit goes to a growing economy for Singapore. Okay, so Singapore's economy grow, businesses do well, they give out better pay, or rather the market dynamics determine what is the current pay for the person, the worker working for the company, the bosses, right? So that determines where generally everybody makes more money because the Singapore economy grows, right? So that growth is represented by businesses. Businesses will then pay generally, if the bosses are good bosses, they generally will also expand their expenses to pay their workers better. All right. So that's explain why there's a growing income. So what I'm saying is this: fundamentally, when the property prices grow, if the property prices go up, in order to remain affordable, your income should generally go up as well. Okay. Sometimes it's faster, sometimes it's slower than the growth. All right. But even out. That's what the government is always very concerned. Fundamentally, can we remain the gap as such? If the gap cannot be remain as such, if we don't have control over it, then can we control the BTO prices? Can we control the HDB market itself? Right? To give our younger crowd, the younger people who are getting married, can we provide a roof over their head? That's the government's headache, right? That's why the BTO system is in place on a subsidized flat basis. But private property, I generally think that they should not get involved. Okay, good. What does MAS, our Monetary Authority of Singapore, say about household debts? They are generally quite comfortable with the people, okay, who are on mortgage, on debt basis. They are saying that we generally feel that it is manageable. Okay, it is manageable. So why do they feel comfortable? Because of this thing called TDSR. All of you know how TDSR works, right? 60% of your maximum income can be used to pay for debts itself. Debts include your car debts, your property debts, your property loan, your car loan, your student loan, your renovation loan, everything add up cannot exceed 60%. Which means if I earn $1,000, I will definitely have $400 to spend every month. Because $600 I can go and pay debts, $400 definitely my own spending money, okay? Which will help me determine a good quality of life in Singapore. As long as I eat hawker center food or I cook on my own You don't say you want to be luxurious everyday eat restaurant. Okay, that's a different story altogether. But the MES says mortgage, we are not so concerned. Okay, so that gives our first round of the concern number one where it comes to rising interest rates. Next is in tandem with rising interest rate. Generally, it is because of this thing called inflation. All right. So expected inflation to be as high as in 2023 to be as high as 5.2%. What does that mean to you and I? Okay. So what it means is our economies in Singapore are saying that a lot of things will get more, many things will get more and more expensive. Okay. I've already realized it at the coffee shop. I'm still drinking kopi o kosong, right? Kopi o kosong used to, TDSR, someone corrected me, it's not 60%, it's 55%. Thank you so much. All right, let me change, it's 55%. Yeah, I'm still living in the older days. Sorry. Yeah, I apologize. TDSR, thank you so much, Roslyn. Okay, 55% now. This is even better news, which means that makes it even more manageable. Thank you so much for the correction. I forgot about it. So let's come back to inflation. When you see inflation itself, when everything is become more expensive, like I said, my kopi o kosong, right? I used to pay like 90 cents. Now it's $1, right? At hawker centers. At coffee shop, I think maybe 120. I'm not very sure. Okay, maybe even 130. That's the cost of inflation. All right. So you can see they also publish, newspaper also publish, some things are inflated already. That means they built in, it become more expensive already. Okay, some things are still regularly flat. Okay, so you can see what it means is red means go up, green means come down, got things decrease. So don't think that everything become more expensive. Certain things are not as expensive or at least unchanged. Okay, at least it's according to the study in 2021, which is COVID year versus this year, which we open up, okay, where demand becomes stronger and everything. So all this, the government, I think they are concerned about this, okay, of inflationary costs going up, all right? And then because that will then put pressure on your disposable income, right? We know that you know, right? 55% you can pay loan, right? 45% is your disposable income. That 45%, I think you need to also help the consumers manage it well, so that we have disposable income, got some savings, so that we can do educational saving for our children, if they want to further their studies overseas or whatever, right? So we always must give the capability to our people, okay, to Singaporeans, to have that rainy day funds, okay, so that we can then go through if bad times come. Then if someone loses a job in a household, at least they can last. They can last through the tough times. We call tong lah. In Hokkien, it's called tong lah. Okay. So how has prices changed over the years? Yeah, generally you can see 2021 versus 2022. This is just general knowledge. It's published in the newspaper anyway. So let's go. Inflation. Inflation is the line below. This one is inflation. Okay. But the performance of property, in a nutshell, it has outperformed inflation. In a nutshell, okay, in a very short sentence is property price. Okay, private property, I will not talk about HDB. This HDB is not our topic today. It has grown faster than the consumer, which is generally these things that you buy on the streets, right? These are consumer price. So what the consumer price index tells us that yes, there's inflation, but property index also tells us that it has actually outraised faster. Right? It rose faster in terms of its performance. Right, versus vis-a-vis your inflation rates, okay, vis-a-vis your consumer growth in terms of the prices. So over a long-term period, what we are saying is this. I always believe this, and I'll still say this the same. It's a good hedge against, good defense system against inflation. I give you a very simple example. I always talk about my parents and my grandparents. If you have a decision to make, and you can unwind, okay, you can rewind the clock by 10 years. Okay, would you make the same property purchase 10, 15, 20 years? Would you still be owning the same property that you have today? If you have today's knowledge, if you can rewind the clock, would you still buy the same property that you are living in today? Okay, I always have this question out, right, to people out there, right? So would you make a different decision if you have today's knowledge, knowing how property has performed over the past decade or so? Okay, or don't talk about decades. We talk about 5 years, 6 years ago. Right? If you have the knowledge that you have today in 2022, you need to make a decision in 2016, 2015, 2013, 2010. Would you be still buying the same property? That's for you to answer and for me to wonder, okay, whether you will make the same decision. Because this will tell you, if your decision is going to be different because you have the information today. This is called on hindsight. If I know what will happen today, okay, and I can go back and make the decision again, likely the decision is a different one. I'm talking about property decision. I'm not talking about your marriage. Okay. So when you look at that, when you have the benefit of hindsight, would you make a different decision? That's for you to answer and for me to wonder. Okay. For me, I will likely make a different decision. Okay, I'll probably buy a much bigger property than what I have today. Okay, or buy more properties like what Jillian is saying. All right. So these are decisions that we need to make, right? Because we got data now. So what I'm saying is this. If you know the performance of that particular asset called property, if it can outpace your inflation, why don't you let it outpace your inflationary rates? Okay, and then make a good investment based on the data that you can see. Oh, what's the third condition? This one. A lot of people are concerned about this now. Okay, the Russian-Ukraine war doesn't seem to be ending anytime soon. Okay, Russia, US and China are not really on good terms. Now China and other countries like Taiwan, Hong Kong also not on good terms. So does that mean we have economic uncertainty? The short answer is yes. Okay, I'm also concerned like you. Okay, I'm also equally concerned, but let's look. Does that mean that simply because of economic recession, okay, and then we see the recent tech layoffs, does it mean we should really be worried about economic uncertainty? Okay, so I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news. I'm not trying to scare you, but can uncertainty trigger us to go into fear mode? Can. Every time you're unsure about certain things, then you rather don't do it, right? Rather than take the decision to do certain things, right? If I'm afraid, I see the street is very dark. When I walk this street thousands of times to go home, for example, if I see one day no street light, the street lamp all turned off, the street becomes, it's the same street I walk thousands of times. Okay, but the street lights are off. Will I feel uncertain? Possible lah. Possible. Okay, it's normal to feel uncertain. But then, when I'm about to walk that street, I will tell myself, Thomas, have you done this thousands of times? Yes, I'm familiar. Do you know this street at the back of your hand? Of course, I also know lah. Okay, and you probably don't know it's only like maybe 600-700 steps for you to reach home only. It's a very short 50 meters street, for example. It's just that what's missing? The light is missing, right? Okay, but can you, a lot of times we practice so much, can you do things in darkness? Possibly can, you know. Okay, so at that juncture is, number one, I detour. I find something lit up properly, then I go and detour, take a longer route. Or I will just go ahead because I'm very sure I can reach my destination. General direction is still this straight way. I can still reach my destination no matter what, even though there is no lighting, for example, because I know this street at the back of my hand. I can even walk blind on the street itself. So what I'm saying is this: as long as you know for a certain thing, certain things are fundamental, foundation is strong, then you should not be worried about moving forward. Okay. So what's so strong about Singapore? Okay, what's so strong about Singapore? Singapore, number one, the government tell you we see no recessionary pressure. Okay, number one, this one said by government, not me. Okay, it's your government that says this. Okay, so when the government comes out and tell you steady, don't worry, I die. Okay, 不要怕. Okay, I'm trying to use as many language as we can. Okay, so yeah, okay, yeah, there are people with a good solution. Yeah, Puchin is saying in the chat group, use your handphone, got torchlight to shine your street. Clever. I've never thought about that. I was prepared to walk in darkness already. Okay, but good solution. Thank you so much. Is there a full-scale recession? It takes 4 consecutive quarters. 2 quarters, they will tell you it's technical recession. 4 quarters, they tell you full-scale recession. Have we experienced that? Not yet. Okay, not yet. Okay, in fact, this year, I was reading the newspaper, I think just last week or the week before, they did downscale. They did downscale the GDP. Our GDP growth was originally hovering around 2.83%. Now they are downgrading it by 1%. But then, what I'm trying to tell you is we still got growth, even though albeit it's slow. But it's still growth. Growth means what? Okay? What does growth mean to you and I? When you say this, growth means like, see, economy growing means businesses are growing. Is it slower growth? Yes. But is it still growing? Yes. It's like a kid lah. Some kids grow faster. Some kids grow slower. But is it still growth? Yes. It's still growth. All right? So generally, we all get there. We all get to adult height. We all get to adult weight. All right? Some overweight. Okay? But at the end of the day, as long as the hormones are at play, the person will grow. Right? So what is this hormone? What is this fundamental? The foundation that we're talking about, right? Let's look at Singapore as a country. Number one, okay, you see how the Singapore government handled our crisis called the pandemic. All the different countries got different way of managing it. Okay, but our country went in, our country vaccinated almost the entire population. All right. Then they came out and they gave us assurance. The minister also take the booster shot themselves, right? The minister also take the jabs themselves, right? They show you, promote confidence, tell everybody to do it. Once we hit the herd immunity, right? Once we get X number of people on board in terms of the vaccination, I tell you, you follow my instruction, you do it, we will come out of this pandemic quickly and strongly. So is it proof that we have make the right move? You guys think for yourself, is it proof that we have done the right move? Right? So that's why I'm telling you that we need to be very focused in terms of our thoughts. Okay, when there are distractions around, economy is going to go into recession and all that, must understand we are under a good governance. Our government will do all they can, okay, to make sure that our economy continues to grow regardless. Okay, to make sure that everybody will benefit from the recovery itself. And you look, the first people who benefit from it, travel related. Okay, the numbers speaks for itself in terms of its recovery. Okay, so there are some country, I will not say which country, they want to have zero COVID, right? Then they restrict a lot of travel and all that, right? The economy suffer as a result. Okay, their people protest as a result of it. So do you see that in Singapore? Not really, because all of us were quite focused in doing our part. All right. Then when it's time to reopen, we reopen with measures. Okay. And then we reap the benefit faster than any other country. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Singapore under good governance. Okay. Yeah. Do I sound like I'm promoting our government? All right. So at the start, at the end, Singapore, at the end of the day, it tells you we are trying, and 4 to 6 million visitors, even though it sounds very huge, it's only, I think, not even 75% of our regular rates, okay, not even 75% of our regular rates itself, which means we can take in a lot more visitors, okay, but we are quite prudent. We are quite prudent in terms of this will stimulate the economy, okay, and then it will encourage more foreign direct investment. Then eventually more people come to Singapore, experience Singapore, come to work, start businesses, more expatriates come. This will help feed the renter that you're for the units you're trying to buy. So all these are linked. All these are linked. Economy must grow first. Then the governance must be good. Then the expatriates will be happy to start shop here, do a business here, come here and work. Then that will feed the rental demands for the properties. Because another question I get asked is, hey, we built so many condos. I buy the condo, I invest in a 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom, 3-bedroom. I rent to who? Expatriates. That's why you need them to come and work and rent from you, right? Yeah, so this is all linked in terms of how it works. So does the recent tech layoff bother us? Of course, it does. Okay, I'm not saying it doesn't, but it's only one sector. Okay? The F&B sector is looking for a lot of people now, right? The security sector is looking for a lot of people now. Construction sector all the while is looking for a lot of people, okay? So some of the economies are still growing. Some of the sectors are still growing, okay? Tech layoffs, it's a matter of time. It's a matter of time because they were so, during the pandemic, they were so in focus, right? Everybody wants to work for the big brands. Everybody wants to go into tech company, okay? But it's about time they do a little bit of pruning. I'll not bother too much about that. So it remains robust. The keyword is robust because our Singapore job sector remains robust. And to show you that it is robust, okay, to tell you that most people found another replacement job within 6 months. In fact, it's lesser than 6 months. In fact, it's lesser than 6 months. Okay, so what does our unemployment rate tell us? You see, can you see it's pretty much a straight line? Which means whether COVID, no COVID, we maintain our people are all constantly or most of the time underemployment. This tells a lot, and this one maintained from 2006 to 2020 over a period of 16 years. Okay, unemployment rate is hovering around 2.5%. Can you see? It's hovering about 2.5%, which means 100 working adult age, someone that can work which in Singapore I think it's 14 or 15, right? Someone who is capable of working, they are working like 100 of them, 98 of them are working. That shows how much demand we have in Singapore in terms of employment rates. Okay, and because of this demand, and if you continue to add on some businesses, these businesses will need more workers. That's where the unemployment rate will go down further. If not, if you cannot add more workforce, more human in the workforce, then people will 跳槽, they will go and look for higher pay jobs itself. Okay, so that's generally telling you robust growth, right? Robust growth. So the keyword is robust. So what will happen next is these three concerns. One is our economic recession concern, right? Number two is what will happen if the inflation kicks in, what will happen to rising interest rates itself. So then, what happens in 2023? The very first launch, if I remember correctly, it will be Sceneca, which is tonight's session, right? Will the next launch garner attention? Let's see. Let's see. In Singapore itself, every time you want to look whether it will garner attention, it will get a lot of traction or not, always look at supply and demand. Okay? Always look at supply and demand. So what does the newspaper report? Unsold private. So the keyword is low. low supply. Okay, so will it attract attention? What does low supply mean? I give you another example. So if I'm selling shoes, okay, shoes, 鞋子. If I'm selling shoes and this pair of shoe is limited edition, do you think because supply is low, right? Do you think the prices will usually remain, go up, or it will drop suddenly, the price? If your thing that you own is limited edition. If you run a retail shop and you sell shoes, do you think the prices for your limited edition shoe will go up, flat, or come down? What do you think if you have limited stock? Same thing. If I walk in Orchard Road, if I walk into LV shop, the Louis Vuitton, okay? If I walk into Louis Vuitton shop and I shop for a bag, one is regular edition, the other one is limited edition, only 100 pieces in the entire world itself. Which one will cost more? It's the limited edition, right? So we are in a similar situation now. The stocks are limited already. Okay, the stocks are limited. So in 2023, if you're expecting, because of rising interest rate, uncertainty, economy, the developers will drop price, unlikely lah. I won't say it won't, but I'm telling you it's unlikely to happen. Okay, because the developer got not enough stock to sell already. Why would they drop price and sell you his stock, isn't it? Right? Same thing lah. Same thing how retailers think lah. Okay, so let's look at the interaction, okay, between the price index versus the number of units. So you can see the number of units, blue color. Total unsold unit, dropping. As it drops, the prices rise. I think it's just the workings of demand and supply. All right. So what I'm saying is total units has already decreased to I don't know how many year low, but 5,000 units is very low. 1 year we generally consume maybe about 8 to 10,000 units. Okay. All right. So if you are under that general consumption unit, general that benchmark, then we are really in a low stock situation. Will stock bump up? Yes. The government is trying to bump up the stock, but then the stock does not come into the marketplace, right? Even if I buy the land today, I can only launch for sale maybe 18 months later. Okay. So supply will come later. Okay. You will not see it very immediate in that sense. So when that happens, so what I'm trying to tell you is, if you look into the horizon, if the developer got low inventory, assuming our economy, yes, it may slow down a little bit, but still growth, like I mentioned. Okay. So what happened is demand for property will continue to be there. Maybe not strong anymore. Maybe it's still regular demand. Okay. But it certainly does not eat up the demand. As long as Singapore continue to grow, like I said, we will still attract consumers, expatriates to come, then they will continue to invest in the property in Singapore. So there's really little to no incentive. If you are the seller, and in our context, the seller is our developers, right? There's really little to no incentive for them to drop price. Simply because they want to clear stock. That's illogical, right? Because stock is already at an all-time low, right? Almost an all-time low lah. Not in history the all-time low, but 5,000 is really low. Okay. Looking at a general consumption per year of 8,000 to 10,000 units. So you can see the interaction is the supply, whether it's CCR. CCR means town area. Okay. OCR means outside town. This one is somewhere in the middle. Okay. So, okay, what is happening now? 开发商吊起来吗? Does that mean that the developers are going to sell high? Raise price? Hopefully not. Okay, hopefully not. That's why don't miss a good deal if you see one. All right. So what I'm saying is declining. The supply is declining. I'll not go through too much. I'll show you what happened in the OCR projects recent times. Okay, so you can see 72%, 84%. The project name is there. Okay, then you can see Copen Grand EC. So you see in general in the last 4-5 months. Okay, the last part of the year, 4-5 months. So all these came into the marketplace. These are very fresh things. Okay, so you can see the demand. This tells you the demand generally still strong. Still very strong. Okay, so stock low, demand strong. What will happen to prices? If you are the seller, you look at all these numbers. You don't even need to come to Thomas's seminar to get all these data. If you are the seller, you look, the demand is still strong. Looking at the past launches, the stock is extremely low for everyone. Why would I drop price in 2023? Why? There's simply no incentive and no motivation to do that, isn't it? So basic theory lah, supply remain, the demand stays the same. Okay, supply go up. What happened to prices? Generally, it comes down, right? But now we are in a situation where demand remains relatively strong, but our supply is dropping. So what do you expect the prices to be now? Come on, tell me. What do you expect the prices in 2023 to go up or down? All right, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. We are expecting the prices, as long as the demand remains the same, but supply now, we know that the supply is low now. Looking at the number of units, I'm talking about new projects. I'm not talking about resale projects. That's a story for another day. Okay, but when that happens, this plus this, generally the prices, okay, will generally head upwards. So now the question is, all right, we're going to round up with the last 3 slides. Now the question is, do I buy or do I wait? Like I said, you guys are adults. You guys are attending this session because you want to collect information. I give you the data for you guys to make decision. I will not make the decision for you. You guys need to just remember a few key things I've just shared. Let's do a quick recap. Number 1, rising interest rate. How do you deal with it? Make sure when you enter into whether you buy now or buy later, make sure you enter into it, know the interest rate. What does it mean to you in terms of your monthly mortgage? Then that will determine whether you can afford it or cannot afford it. Okay? Always remember, even though it may be a little bit more expensive, remember, your household income is always rising. Every year is going up. Okay? Even though you may not feel it, okay, but every year is going up. That's a fact. Okay? Some of you maybe even got 10%, 20% pay rise on year by year basis. So the second thing that we covered is inflation, right? Should I be concerned about inflation? Look, in terms of mid to long term, you can see the property gains usually outweigh and outpace the inflationary costs. So you can see inflation grow 30%, but the property prices grow maybe 100%. Okay, so this generally tells you inflation, the property prices usually outperform the inflationary rates. Okay, so this will give you a good assurance that if you buy property, it's a good asset. I cannot say the same if you buy crypto, isn't it? But I can tell you, property assets in Singapore, I won't say property assets in other country. In Singapore, certainly I know the performance. Right? Because this is not hocus pocus. Not everybody, not because I pull numbers from the air. The numbers themselves show you, right? Because of the strong fundamental support from government to supply and demand, okay, and the Singapore brand itself. So there are a few things you need to take note of. Then economic crisis, economic uncertainties, is it likely to happen in 2023? Okay, we are in a recovery mood, right? So travels have resumed, which means it will help many sectors recover. Hotels, hospitality, your F&B, all these will benefit from it. Yeah, the tourist hotspots will benefit from it, right? Then once the tenants return, when the businesses set up shop here, because of the travels returning, so businessmen can also come here, travel freely to come here to set up shop. Then they will employ Singaporeans. They will create more jobs for Singaporean. Then the rental demand, when they bring their expatriate workforce here, the rental demand will certainly return. Okay, and absorb all the supply out there, which is low to start with. Then, of course, looking ahead, always remember, developer face what? Low stock, which is low supply. And if the demand remains as it is today, okay, as it is today, then we are looking at developers unlikely lowering their prices. So these are things that will help you determine whether you should buy now or you should wait for it. All right, because why we wait? Why do we wait? Why do we procrastinate? Why do we wait? Because we wait for something else to happen. And if you know that there's something else, which is price drop, right? If you know that something else is unlikely to happen, then whether you still want to wait or not, or you just proceed to buy now, up to you. Okay? My job is to give you data, like I said, up to you. So because tonight is talking about a launch that's happening coming soon, right? In January, isn't it? In 1 week's time, right? So my job is to share you, okay, what I think about the different types of product in the marketplace. All right, different types of product. Okay, before I head over to Augustine to share you. One, you can compare standalone condo right? You can compare mixed development and integrated development. So the description is there. This one is just a standalone condo itself. This one comes with commercial and residential, all right? So it's resi commercial. And then this one comes with nodes, okay? Connected to transportation system, okay? Just to give you some example, you guys know where is the Campus Heights, right? Condo, Campus Point or Campus One or whatever, okay? It's connected to the Sengkang MRT itself. So these are what we call integrated development, all right? So my personal opinion is if you have a choice between these three, okay, you ideally will pay the most for integrated development, which also will perform relatively well. If you don't have that in your vicinity, maybe you should look for something called a mixed development before you consider something called a standalone condo. Because in terms of its performance, I don't have a chance to show you the data. In terms of its performance, one will be better than the other. Okay. The best performer being the integrated development. Okay. So these are just my opinion talking about tonight. The session you have with Augustine, which is our next speaker, will be talking about a mixed development, okay? Which I think is not too bad, okay? And looking at the environment in Tanah Merah, I think there's not many launches to start with, okay? So I think it's a product. Number one, we face low supply in the marketplace and the demand remains pretty much the same as what we see today. I can already tell you the performance will be really good, okay? Barring the prices from the developer, the performance will be relatively good, all right, compared with the rest of the in the vicinity itself. So with that, I've come to the end, all right, and I hope that you guys, based on this, can make a decision whether you want to buy now or you want to wait. I don't know, wait until when, okay? Then you make your own decision based on the factors I've shared with you guys, okay, in terms of your concerns that you may have. So that is my session for tonight. Now I shall hand over to Augustine to help you talk to you about the latest launch at Sceneca Residence. Augustine, over to you.
Thank you, Thomas. Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Thomas, for giving us a detailed and exciting outlook and insiders of the market itself. Okay, today my name is Augustine. I'll be telling you more about Sceneca. Why Sceneca? Why are we buying Sceneca? And what's so good about this project? Okay. Okay, you can see me inside the picture. Okay. You can see from here, basically we can see is okay, sorry. Okay. Why is it buying Sceneca? You can see there's a lot of good points about us. You see, Eastern region transformation, bring more value to the potential of this area. MRT at your doorstep. How many development in Singapore you can see is actually at your doorstep, which MRT? A lot of people say near, but they are not at your doorstep. And you can see that there is a 10,000 square meter of supermarket and 10,000 square meter of retail just below your residential area. How marvelous is that? Which is not many people or many development have that. And also you can see there's a future demand support for the future upgrading, which is the Eastern region plans. And also you're seeing what kind of property you have. You have actually from 1 bedroom to 4 bedrooms and a single floor penthouse. How to find a single floor penthouse? Majority of places you find is always with staircase, all these things. Single penthouse, floor penthouse is actually quite rare and it's one of the kind itself. And there's also wide choice of education nearby this development, Sceneca itself. And we are actually opposite this landed, which will be fine, quiet, and enclave inside there. And there's also for investor, you will be able to see the right kind of tenant pool, which you can see in there, which can provide you with tenants, and you don't need to worry about I have no tenants, where to find, but they're just beside you. And for this, because of the Eastern region plan, for the entry is easy, exit also easy, and it's only a few years time that you should be able to have the exit itself. And what is the possibly most attractive mixed development, and why is it that when the people buy mixed development, right, what kind of profit they are actually looking at, and what kind of advantage they are looking at? I will tell you more about that. Okay, why we buy mixed development? Number one, basically you can see that it's an unparalleled convenience. which I mentioned just now, the retail is basically at a doorstep. How many of the development you have actually retail at a doorstep, which is actually like retail at supermarket, food, F&B, all these things, and you have a wide choice. You don't need to go to anywhere outside. It's just below you. When you just come back, you can just enjoy your food and just go up to your house itself. Secondly, MRT, which is basically very well connected to you. That is something that everybody or every buyer or every owner, they are looking at. Convenient, which is just in front. MRT, out of your house, immediately in front of you, and it's sheltered. You can go straight to the MRT itself. And main thing is that because of that, right, you don't need to drive itself. And down here, a lot of people are not. In Singapore, quite a lot of actually salary staff, they prefer not to drive because it's inconvenient. For them, MRT is actually one of the main source. And the third thing, the most important, is actually the strong rental demand. Because of this mixed development, that's actually making it a very, very attractive kind of tenants area for people to actually go into there. Even let's say for this property report, right, or from Property Guru, it's actually indicated that a lot of Singaporean or actually for buyer itself, they are actually looking for F&B outlets and more, which is inside your nearby you, which people would like to have. So this is part of the points that people are looking at, one of the attractions. And these attractions is not easy to find, and sometimes it's rare. That's why when people talk about mixed development, it's always the first choice in their mind. Okay, looking at here, this is about the capital gain. Here itself, right, is at District 3, right? You can see at these 4 development, Artra, Metropolitan, Essential Sky, and Echelons. These are all at District 3. And you can see and you can find that Artra, which is the mixed development, the gain itself, right, is actually 23.64, no? Better than the rest of the guy. No? You can see that it's actually one of the best. Because why? Because it's a mixed development. Even though they are at the same district, even though they are beside each other, even though they have a same kind of thing, the only difference is because they are mixed development. That makes the difference. And you can here itself is the rental itself. The rental itself, right, for a mixed development, you can see from the blue color Ultra, the green one is the Metropolitan, and the yellow is Essential. You can see the rate itself, right, is actually the highest. You can go as high as a 7, so the 7 per square foot for the rental itself. So that is actually make up the difference of that, and that make how an investor are looking at and they are going for. Nothing else before when people, because if you buy any property, the most important thing is that when you cannot stay, you will intend to sell it or to rent it, because you must have an exit point or must have something to do with your property itself, or else, right, your property can't sell, you cannot sell a property, you cannot rent property, I tell you, dead. So this is important to you, and this is the first thing that you should always think in your mind as a buyer. Here itself, right, you will see at points at this District 13 itself, how the capital itself on the higher rental rate itself, same thing. You can see the blue line here, right? The blue line basically represent Poise residence. This is also a mixed development compared to the rest, like St. Rick's, all these things. The per square foot itself, right, you can see is actually higher than the rest. This is already showing, this is the second example that I'm just showing you. So for mixed development, it always, I should say that the data show that it don't fail you. It seldom will fail you because of the mix itself. So that's part of the thing you should always take note. The connectivity and the transportation that you will find in Sceneca. You can see that Sceneca is basically connected to actually island-wide. We are connected to East-West Line, Circle Line, Downtown Line, Thomson East Coast Line. So we are actually connected to all these 4 lines. And itself, right, we are so near to the business park itself, which you will see all your potential customer or tenants itself. At the same time, and people who actually stay in Sceneca or they actually and they work in this business park is actually quite near to them. It's a 3 minutes distance only. Or if they are going to study at this SUTD itself, or they are going to Changi Airport for when they are going for travel, they do not need to take a taxi. They can just take MRT itself. It's only a 2-stop itself, estimated only 7 minutes. Or if they would prefer, they can go to Tampines Regional Center to shop or anything. It's also only 2 stops, just 7 minutes. And if they find that they want to go to PLQ, which is another eastern CBD itself, or Paya Lebar Square itself. It's around 4 minutes and it's only 4 stops out. Same thing, even go to the central like City Hall, 10 stop away, 23 minutes. So you can see it's how convenient you are and how well connected you are to the rest of the Singapore area itself. Okay, you can see that because we are at the eastern side, we are actually linked out to this the Cross Island Line, which is the Punggol extension. So at the same time, it's also linked to another cross extension site itself. So that is the part that we are actually how connected we are as our site Tanah Merah to these the two areas, which is the Cross Island Line and the extension site. So we are so closely connected to them. And even for us, we can even go back to Changi Airport, just a few stations also. Here, so this is the upcoming Cross Island Line that you are actually looking at. When the completed of this Cross Island Line, right, will serve existing and the future development in the eastern and northeastern and the western corridor. That means that we, as a resident in Tanah Merah, we are actually connected to all this area in the eastern side, northeastern side, and the western corridor itself. This is how convenient we are when we are connected to this upcoming Cross Island Line itself. Here itself, you can see that the Tanah Merah station is down there, right? In next time, right, this is the downtown line and the Thomson Eastern region, right? We are able to actually transport back from Tanah Merah back to Changi Airport and even to T5, the new airport itself. At the same time, you'll go back to Woodlands. So if you travel back to Woodlands, it's actually a big round. It's more than 1.5 hours. But with this, right, you actually shorten by half itself. Here, probably that within one click to MRT station, what do we enjoy? You enjoy higher rental demand, which is a high rental volume, high rental growth rate itself, and also a higher capital appreciation. This is what we are looking at in terms of if you are actually 1 kilometer to MRT, but for us, we are only just in front or at our doorstep itself. That makes it even more attractive to the buyer itself. So I'll tell you more about the transformation of the east and exit point itself. You can see down here in front of us, Sceneca, right? You can see there's actually 4 plots. The plot A itself, right? You can see down here, plot A is actually the opposite Sceneca plot, and there's actually another few block down here. There's a current Bedok station, old campus of Bedok, and all these things. What does that tell you? It's telling you say that after Sceneca been built, right? You can see that the surrounding will be building and there'll be more development come out. And what does that mean? It will help you to have your price increase, because once they are built, right, you can see that they will actually impact you and influence you and ensure that your price are actually going up together with them. This is important. You will not like to have to go to a place that you can see that there's no new development, it's a dead town, nothing is growing, nothing is in there, and that's what you're looking at. So you should really find a place. So Sceneca is the best place that you're seeing it. You are seeing that surrounding are with opportunity. Price increment opportunity. This is what you are looking at. Here itself, we are also near to this place that this transformation is the Bayshore transformation. Bayshore will become a vibrant, sustainable garden itself, which is a neighborhood aimed to capitalize on the possibility of the East Coast Park. And there's a plan to build around 12,500 housing units and also 6,000 HDB itself. And within that, there will be a MRT station also. So this area is also an up and coming area for the transformation. And with that, right, you can see that it's the possibility that is actually near to Sceneca or Tanah Merah. It also brings a lot of crowds, a lot of residents, a lot of vibrance to the eastern side itself, and making eastern place, right, in Singapore, right, a very, very different area which you will be able to see in the next 5 to 10 years time. So that will be a bit different compared you see now and in the next 5 to 10 years. So you're looking at a lot of future plans, transformation, kind of things happening. So this is our area, the Paya Lebar Air Base. This is at our government has been talking about this thing. Actually, Paya Lebar Air Base will be moved out around 2030. And you can see that it's approximately around 800 hectares of land. What is the 800 hectares? It's equal to 5 Toa Payoh town. You see 5 Toa Payoh town, you see roughly how big they are. And there'll be a lot of developments things will be actually building there. You'll see housing building there, shopping area building there, and a lot of things that you will see. You will be as a different area. So that is also part of the transformation that you'll be seeing in the eastern side. So you see, eastern have been so many things actually going on and on and on, and it's really different. Like Singapore government, our PM already told us, east side is the next exciting region in the next 10 years. This is what he's saying. And here itself, right, this is the Eastern Gateway master plan itself. You can see from there, it's capitalizing on the expansion of the Changi air hub itself, which is a Changi Gateway will host aviation-related business relying on gas connectivity to the world. It will also be supported by an innovative lifestyle business cluster comprising the Singapore City of Technology and also design, and also Changi Business Park, and also the future Changi East Urban District itself. So these are all things that is actually moving in the Eastern Gateway Master Plan. So you can see down here, these are all the few things that you can actually take note, and it will be in your future that is actually building and expanding itself. Here, what's upcoming? You can see is a Changi East project consists of what 1,080 hectares. Is the biggest expansion plan in Changi Airport for the last 3 decades. The Changi Aviation Park expansion, the T5 itself, the Changi East Urban District, and the Waterfront District. The total area worked out to be around 667 football field, which is equivalent to that means the length, right? It's basically the Singapore Penn Island Expressway length itself, the distance. Here itself, you'll see another exciting plan. It's the future Long Island along East Coast itself. What is planned for East Coast? The Long Island is a reclaimed island along a southern eastern coast from Marina East itself to Changi. And itself, right, it actually could include a reservoir to both Singapore on supply. You're aware that Singapore is always thinking about water supply. And because we do not want to buy water supply from other people or other country, of course, we should have our own water supply. At the same time, it also, because of that, it also help to protect its coastline. And you know that because of the global warming, right, protecting our coastline is actually protecting the life of the whole Singaporeans, I mean Singapore itself. And itself, at the Long Island country, right, it's also it's developed for housing and to be integrated with coastal parks and recreational space on the development based by the development or URA site. This is a long-term plan review itself. Okay, UB things that we will actually see about opportunity. Are there any MOP upgraders to buy Sceneca? This is something that you want to see because you need to see the exit plan. When people talk about entry, they will talk about exit. Who are our buyers who will be purchasing Sceneca itself? You can see here itself in Tampines, right? Down here, we have easily of 8,000 new home in 10 to 15 years. And all these homes will be completed in 2025. Now it's 2022. Another 3 more years will be completed and the MOP at 2030. If you see, Sceneca will be actually TOP about 2026 itself. So within 4 years, right, after TOP, right, you can see that the buyer from this area will start to search for property nearby. And this Sceneca will be one of the choice. And you can see that the surrounding that the Sceneca that's going to build, right, will not TOP or so soon. It will be a bit TOP later. So Sceneca will be the first choice because they're the most newest property you can find at that time during 2030 itself. So this is a great opportunity that when you start to put step your step onto Sceneca, which is the first or the baby step area that you can find. Second area is actually about in the Tampines North. There's around 21,000 itself of residents going to be built at that site. This is another opportunity area that you will see that is also part of our potential buyers. Besides this, we'll be looking more into the school. Which kind of school is actually near to Sceneca? Because for parents, right, even for parents or local or who, most of the thing to them, right, is the children and themselves and their kids itself. People will be looking more into school because school in Singapore, because I should say Singapore parents, majority of people, their kids is their number one in their life. So school is important. even for any people who are foreigner, the international school also part of their, if they cannot go to a local school, of course, national school is their another choice. So near to a school is always a choice for them for selecting a property itself. You can see the most famous one, the rates are Sceneca. That one is basically 1 to 2 click away from us in the primary school, Fengshan, all these things, and Temasek itself. For United School, you can see United World School itself, Overseas Primary School, and all these things. These are all international school and very famous primary school. At the same time, the Temasek Poly, which is for the young adults or the teenagers itself. So it actually covers all age itself for this. So it never leave out anyone in a family that needs education. Here itself, this is some of the high school itself, for the secondary school itself, the university area also. So this is also part of it. And like Singapore Institute of Technology and Design, this is one of the best school that university you can see in Singapore also. And that is actually providing for the young adult itself, even with that. You can see recent year, Singapore government actually indicated that for any children, right, for to be a priority to go into a primary school, right, their home, right, must be at least 1 to 2 click from the school. So because of the realization of that, right, everybody are looking for house or home that is very near to the school, because that is part of the young parents that who are looking at, and also for people that who are actually buying as a homestay when they want to sell to any young parents. This will be a selling point to them also. This is about talking about tenants pool and future potential buyer. Here itself, right, you can see Changi Park. These are more onto the working adults down there, where you can see a lot of tenants itself down here. The overseas tenants, even our local, will be working there. And Singapore Institute of Technology and Design, that you can see teachers and all people down there. Temple Region Center, that one is more onto recreational. Changi Airport, same thing. All these things, they are all, there's actually local and Singapore adults actually are actually working down there itself. So you can see that there's actually potential people, and because a lot of people, right, you see when they buy any property, sometimes their workplace, and they wanted to stay near to the workplace also, and also the place for the kids to study there. And also, if you find something that your tenants are actually nearby, you know that there's a potential. Of course, you have to buy this place for an investment place. So Sceneca is part of, and it's one of them that you can see it actually include all this. For this nearby rental, right, this is estimated asking rental along east and west line. For 1 bedroom, it's about 3,500 to 3,800 itself. 2 bedroom around 4,001 to 5,005. Some of them you can even go up to 4,500, depending on how big and whether it's fully furnished or what. Here itself, right, is talking about the rental yield itself, right, for along the east and west region line itself, like for you see the highest one you can see down here, basically rates itself. Rates actually opposite us You can see it can go as high as a 4.6 or nearby, or even a 4.8 itself per square foot itself. The yield itself percentage for 4.8%, right, is actually a very, very healthy for a residential property itself as a rental. Normally you can see it's about around 3, even you can get a 3.5 is considered very good. You can above 4, wow, super already. If you can above 4.8, wow, you already killed it already, this property. So this is something that a lot of investors are looking at, and they are searching for it. So Sceneca, this is the one. Here itself is part of the talking about Changi Business Park. Why is it so good, and why is it near to us, and how does it benefit us? Basically, Changi Business Park is basically 71 hectares itself, and there's a lot of technology corporation is down there, inclusive of bank and all these things. So you'll be seeing that here there's a lot of high paid salary guys are actually inside there, and also there's a lot of people or potential buyer there also, and tenants at this area. And we are going to build out a new integrated hospital next to Bedok North MRT, which is near Tanah Merah side also. This one will be at least another 2 to 3 years later, 2030 itself. So it's about another 8 years time. So that will actually come very close up to our Sceneca, which is going to TOP about 2026 itself. So that is something that we are also looking at with all the amenities and all the things that's actually nearby here. This is talking about Changi General Hospital, which is actually near to us. Okay, what's the attractive, the possible most attractive price for this person in District 1516? There's a few of them. So you can see at this moment, the stock that you can see along this MRT itself, Bugis. This is Martin, the Morton side itself at Bugis area, District 7. There's only around 200 units. Bedok, Sky Eden itself left 35 units. Tanah Merah 268. Pasir Ris 24, which you can see is under Pasir Ris 8 itself. So in terms of the stock, right, you can see at this about mixed development, right, not many. So you will see that at this moment, Sceneca is one of the choice that you have from 1 bedroom to 4 bedroom. The rest one may not have already. So you can see it's maybe left only 4 bedrooms and even bigger units itself. So that kind of opportunity, if you are a buyer, will you grab? Here you can sell, this is the mall that will change the life of the resident, and that's how you see the frontage of Sceneca itself. Imagine this is the place where you're going to stay in, and this is the front of the lobby that you are going for. Will you buy? This is the front area, that the open area that you see on Sceneca itself, and that's the commercial mall itself. And you can see it's very nice located itself, with the mall in front of you, with the MRT just in front of TSA, and also the residential area you can just see down here. For Sceneca, right, you can see it's a lifestyle spot where you can actually enjoy convenience and lifestyle in your fingertips, and it's a mixed development on private housing. It's a 24/7 Linkway access to Tanah Merah MRT, 24/7. So once you come down from your house, immediately you can just link back to the MRT and access to it. And excellent connectivity, there are MRT and major expressway, because it's linked to all the expressway. You can see PIE, all the same ECP, or and the East Enclave with a massive potential due to the East. Just now I mentioned to you about how the growth is like and what's happening. So that is the part that you are looking at on the growth of not only nearby, but the whole East itself. That will actually put your property as the Eastern region, the growth itself, how much you can go for, and what is the opportunity. You never buy something that is without growth, without area growing nearby, or at the whole surrounding you, because that's something that you wouldn't buy a dead town. That is something very, very important for a buyer. Here, I'll tell you more about Sceneca. Sceneca itself, right, it's a 99-year lease, 2 towers. It's 15 story and a 14 story. That's 2. Land-wise, it covers around 8,008 square meters itself, 260 units, 1 to 4 bedroom itself, and there's also 4 penthouse. You can see retail-wise, there's 2,000 square meters of retail. 1,000 is supermarket. Down there, got no supermarket nearby. Surrounding maybe a few hundred meters or even 500 meters, there's no supermarket, or there's no. So Sceneca Square will be the one and only supermarket down there that people can visit. And same to the F&B and retail. So you can see how vibrant your place will be. And as a tenant or as an owner down there, you are enjoying it because below you at your doorstep only. So this is how convenient you are. Car park wise is around 204. We also have a EV charging station itself. Here itself, in the master plan, we are actually about 2.8, the plot ratio itself. So there's a max now, 15 floor. Here itself, for 1 bedroom side, is about 18%. So the 1 bedroom and 1 plus study add up together is around 48 units itself. For 2 bedroom side, we are about 72 units, is about 26% of the whole development itself. The major one is actually the 3 bedrooms. Why 3 bedroom is the major? Is about 45%. Because Tanah Merah is a place where all the family will start to stay here. It's homestay area, and because of the convenience, you attract a lot of young parents to be here. So the developer are aware of that. That's why they are building more onto 3 bedrooms to allow the young parents and the young family, right, to to nested their whole family at this area, which is with convenience, with school, and with the growth at that area itself. And for 4 bedrooms and the penthouse, right, we have around 11% itself, total about 27 units itself, 23 units of 4 bedrooms and 4 units of penthouse itself, which is all under 4 bedrooms. And this penthouse itself is a 1-floor penthouse itself. So that is something that's rare. So here we are actually near to Tanah Merah MRT, and there's an additional track extension which straight link back to Changi Airport itself. You don't need to wait, and this is immediately take you to Changi Airport. Here itself, this is the car park itself for Sceneca. There's a residential car park and there's a commercial car park. The grey color portion you can see is the supermarket itself, and the light beige color itself is all the retail stores surrounding you. Here the step plan showing you the 1 to 4 bedrooms is equally distributed in between 2 blocks itself. So that is actually quite nicely done out with the small and the big units widely spread out and widely distributed among 2 towers itself. This is the picture of the clubhouse itself and the 50-meter lap pool and the features garden wall. If you are a buyer, do you like it? Of course, it's nice. Here itself, this is the pavilion itself where you can enjoy a barbecue with your family itself. And there's a splash pool itself in front of you also, and there's playground. So this place is more to the family. The other area that you see just now, the clubhouse, is more to adults itself. Here is more to family area where you can do barbecue, the splash pool itself, and the function room, which you can cater for family who come here to enjoy their lifestyle itself. These are the lounge itself, and the function I mentioned to you is for the family area and the cascading water terrace, so people enjoy and they can invite people, invite friends to here to enjoy, to have a nice weekend or holidays. These are the function room itself with all the air cons, a clubhouse itself with all the kitchenette itself catered. These are the unit distribution. Here itself is about level 3. Sceneca, right, the first floor is basically the retail area and the car park. Second floor is a residential car park. Third floor is the place where the facilities is and when the unit starts. So all units are start from third floor back to 14 or 15 itself. So here itself you can see there's a 50-meter lap pool, function room, clubhouse, and all and etc. itself. And you can see that both the young and the old will enjoy their parts of place in the 2 area itself. This is a drawing between a 1 and 1+ study itself. The 1 bedroom basically is all 453 square feet. 1+ study all 538. So that is the 2 floor plans that you'll be looking at and part of the unit itself. It comes with a SMAC. Those are producing domestic things. You can see that is the induction itself and the frank, and there's a new form, and you can see there's washer, all is given, and the SMAC fridge itself, and etc. itself. And there's also a frank composite pot resin sink itself. These are all very nice fitting itself to be fitted even within a 1 bedroom or 1+ study bedroom itself, which is sometimes very rare for developer to actually fit in with such a high quality fitting. These are in the bathroom itself, where you can see it's all quite quality kind of things that you'll be looking at. These are 2 bedroom units. You can see the color itself, the red color, the blue color, and the pink color itself. The 2 bedroom and the 2+ study. These are the layout of 2 bedrooms and the 2+. The 2 bedrooms is around size of 678, 2+ study around 753. So these are the 2 comparable floor plans on that. You want to know more about all sorts of floor plans, you can go and look for your agent itself. These are the 3 bedrooms location itself, which indicate in the blue color, yellow color, and the pink color itself. And it consists of, you can see just now top the blue color C1, the yellow C2, and the pink is C3, and the orange or C4 itself. These are the 4 different type of 3-bedrooms itself with the different type of size, ranging from 904 back to 1162 square feet itself. It caters for different type of family mix itself. And this is the types of fitting they're given to you. You see, for 1 to 3 bedrooms, they are giving you the same kind of things. The only thing different is only the sink itself. It's a stainless steel. And this one is a 2-door fridge also with that. So that is the different part but that one's only for C4 itself. Here is the 4 bedrooms, the location of 4 bedrooms, and you can see it's actually the purple color itself. That will actually indicate to you it's in the middle of the whole. That's a central area of the whole development itself. That's why you can see for any premium unit like 4 bedrooms or this thing, they are always in the middle of the whole production, or should say in the development itself, because they are in the center area where you can see the full view of the whole development itself. That's why they are always in the middle. Here, this is the layout of the 4 bedrooms now. Sizes wise about 1518 square feet. It's actually quite a sizable unit for 4 bedrooms. You can see last time 4 bedroom 2 years ago, the 4 bedrooms around 1,000, 2,000, 1,003 plus. And you can see this 1,005 is one of the good size unit where a good family or a so-called a multi generation family would like to stay in also, because they provide them with enough space and for them to enjoy their cohesiveness and also their own space itself. Here is the 4 penthouse that you're looking, which is the 1-floor penthouse. It's spread across the whole from left to right itself. So these are they consist of the P1, PH1, and also the PH2 itself. This is the layout for the PH1 and PH2. For PH1, right, it's about 2,004 square feet. PH2 is about 2,756. They got the common things that they are all 1-floor penthouse itself. So it's actually rare. This is the most important thing. What's the pricing? For 1 bedroom, we started from 958K itself, 958. For 1 plus study, we start from 1085. 2 bedroom about 1.33. 2 plus study about 1.48. 3 bedroom about 1.765. 4 bedroom about 2.98 itself. Prices wise is about 2,000 there per square foot itself, compared to a lot of development already above 2 to 2.3 already. So for us, right, in a mixed development area, MRT our doorstep as a mix itself, right, our prices are considered quite attractive. I should say very attractive already. So do not miss the chance to grab one of the units. The target timeline, right, for the preview, right, is at 1st of January 2023, and the booking will be on 14th January 2023. If you have any problem or any regarding Sceneca, you can kind of look for us